First of all, the initials.
Sorry. Okay, we're the first team. Right now we're going to talk about the DHCP and DNS. The team is integrated by Alejandro, Kevin, and me.
Hello. Hello, friends. Okay, DHCP. First of all, it means, for the initials, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. It's a protocol client server. How does it work, DHCP? Or how DHCP doesn't work? It's dynamic because it repairs the IP addresses in a network. When you have works on these points. First, assigns IP addresses to the host and comes as a client server. As can I say? What this means? Well, like an example, I'm going to explain with this example. We have two PCs. For the connection or for the host can operate over the network, it has to have an IP address, and that address has to be unique. The DHCP works this way, just on routers and servers. This is a PC, this is two, this is a switch, and this is our router. Okay? Now, for example, when you turn on this PC, let's imagine that it's this one, and it's added as a DHCP client. When it starts, it began as a client, it began as a broadcast. It's gonna be for this way, so this and this one. But just gonna be served by this one. This is gonna read out, but it's gonna fail. It began as a broadcast, okay? Then this was gonna read it and gonna respond as a server for the client. Okay, how about this one? I mean, you have a marker? No.
Anybody got the margin?
I haven't. Also on this PC, okay? And we have a DHCP client installed there. So when it began, it asked for an IP address that began as a broadcast. It's gonna be a request by this way, it's gonna be this, but it's just gonna be read by this one. This is true. Okay? First of all, it's a broadcast. It's the first step. They ask, they discover, and it began from the client to the server. When this one is served, request, sorry. When it's requested, then rewind the message for the network to the principal host that is turned on. Same as a broadcast. This one. But again, it's gonna drop it, and it's gonna ask to this. What about, I don't know, 2, 0, 1, 0. How about this one? I'm gonna ask, that is the step 2. And it's gonna be, this gonna request, yes, I want that. So, it's again as a broadcast, send another message, it's gonna eliminate, and this one is answered like, okay, it's your, but it's not given. The IP addresses are not given, are leased. We know what is a lease?
Yeah.
Lease.
What? Lease?
Lease.
Lease. It's the concession that gives the HTTP.
It's not given, okay? This IP addresses doesn't gonna develop to this PC. It's a list from these ones. For example, we have a range from 0 to 10. It's an example, okay? We can add the IP addresses manually for this example. But if we have 200 more PCs, it's fucking we can adapt in that room. So, step 3, it's gonna answer to this list with a list, okay? The PC accepts, say yes, I want that. And the router responds with the list. What is the list? Okay, the list is a date. A date of what? Of life. Like as the IP doesn't gonna reserve for the PC, just have lapse of life with that IP. That means when this list finish, for example, it's gonna be DHCP to the Mac. And the date. And the list date. Why this? Why the lists are not given? Because if the router gives the direction to the PC and then the PC is disconnected, imagine this connection disappeared, the IP gonna stay in the PC and doesn't gonna be founded by the router if it's given. But if this just list when the PC disappears, the IP address gonna be here in the list of lists. Okay? So this is a little example of how DHCP works. Next, please. Oh, I can't see that. This is the example of a list. Huh? In a list, we have the IP, the MAC, where it reserves, and the expiration date. When this is accomplished, just the IP gonna be taken again for the router. And if the PC wanna have to work over the network again, it have to ask for another IP. And if this one is being used by another host, just gonna be changed. And with another expiration date, we have to put it this manually or can be by default. But for example, in an office, when some guys have a schedule of 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. the expiration date can be just for hours and not for days or years. It depends on the question. Job. The job of the guy. Yes?
Question.
Okay. The first step was discovered. When the PC sends a broadcast for all the network, looking for an HTTP server. HTTP left, looking for the server. The second step was the offer. When the DHCP server offers an address, first the address, and the request, when the host requests the list, the address. Who joins to the list goes to the create date. And finally, the DHCP acknowledge. DHCP server sends the IP address to the host, joined with the date to that. And it works with the client port 69 and the server with 67. This is a diagram what how it works. What condition is for what client or what condition is for the server. And it just requires time. Obviously at the beginning it takes a lot of time because it's broadcast and it's taking all the bandwidth, and it takes all the bandwidth with the broadcast. But when it, for example, even here it takes broadcast because all these steps are broadcast until you stay here, arrive here, where they acknowledge to know the IP. When the IP is assigned, the server knows where it has to go. And it doesn't take broadcast. Any questions? Okay, this is up to my part. Thank you.
Example I have about the DHCP. In this case, I use the router of my modem. Of my modem, in which wait a moment. Technical problems. There it goes. Now, going again, this is the configuration I put in my router. In this place, we can see the ID address of the IP address of the modem, and we can see that the DHCP is activated, and we see here the range of the IP that the DHCP gives to devices. In this case, I computed it to 33 to 42. Initially, it was 33 to 64, but I don't know. I don't have that much devices in my home, so I just shorted it to 42 in case of the visit and they want to use the internet. In this case, I configured the DHCP of my modem in a static way for the devices that are part of the family. And each device, I gave them a name. In this case, I have a name. I give a name for my Nintendo, for my laptop, for the cell phone of my mom, my stepdad, my stepbrother, stepsister, and for my cell phone itself. I introduce the MAC of each device, and I give them a IP address, and I put that they can use the network, or they can access the network. Now, this is something that I remember that one of the chiefs that our engineer, Chesney, put in one of the sheets PowerPoint was what's the difference between DHCP and DHCP. It wasn't like a homework thing, but I don't remember if we ever talked about this in class, so I took the opportunity to talk about this. So we have the boot P and the DHCP. So which is the difference about this? Well, it's not very much a big difference. The primary difference that we can say about the boot P is that the boot P is obsolete. And DHCP is just the extended form that the DHCP took. And we can see here a list of comparisons between one another. The auto configuration. A boot P doesn't have auto configuration. You need to configure it yourself. And on the other hand, the DHCP has an auto configuration. So yeah, you can just put the DHCP or the router in your home, in your network, and it has an automatic configuration for giving the concessions of the IPs to the devices. And temporary IP addresses. That means that it gives temporary IP to the devices. The boot key doesn't provide this. It's primarily because the boot key is mostly functions in a static manner. What I mean is that you need to introduce every IP to every device manually. It doesn't have the DHCP a dynamic or an automatic way in which they provide the IP address to each device when they enter the network. So yeah, this is one of the things that has a boot key that doesn't provide a temporary address, and the DHCP provides a limited amount of IP during a time. Compatibility. Now, like I said before, this is the obsolete version that we had before, the DHCP. So it only functions for devices that have a specific, that have compatibility to boot P instead of devices that have compatibility with DHCP. And DHCP, the thing that it has is that if your device doesn't have much compatibility with DHCP or doesn't have the configuration for DHCP, it's no problem because it has the configuration boot P that will still function because it has compatibility with the devices that are clients of the boot P. Now, mobile machines, like I said, this is a static method of giving the IPs to the devices. It doesn't give much IP to the mobile devices, something that the DHCP does. Error occurrence, well, the error occurrence that happens in boot P mostly goes to because it's manual configuration you must do. So if you don't do the manual configuration, it will come with very much errors. And well, that DHCP mostly don't come with these errors in their automatic configuration. And the usage, like I said, the usage is that it's mostly a static one, so it's going to work mostly in computers or workstations that don't get disconnected from the network mostly, instead of the DHCP that a device can get out of the network, it can enter the network, and it's going to give a device. Also, this one provides for diskless device, and this one provides for devices that have disk drive. Okay, pros and cons. Well, mostly of the pros and cons with the DHCP. Mostly comparing with the antecessor that was the boot P. So the pros, what can we see in the pros? Well, we can see that a computer or any device that connects to a network, local or internet, must be properly configured to communicate to that network. Now, like we said, it has an auto configuration, but even though if you want to specify some configuration for the device, well, you can do it with the DHCP. Because of the dynamic IP address assignment, there are less chances that two devices will have the same IP address. Using DHCP makes the network easier to manage because their devices can get IP address automatically devices can only freely form one network to another. And now the cons, mostly the cons are due to bad configuration due to the DHCP that is not according to the necessities of your network. So yeah, the cons can be that dynamic changing IP address should not be used for devices that are stationary or need constant like printers or file servers. Like I said, this is mostly the configuration you give to the DHCP to the devices. Like what we say, and we saw here, the printers and the file servers are devices that you preferably would put an IP, a static IP to them. Mostly because this IP is going to be the form in which one device is going to recognize another device. So if you put another IP device, it's going to make it a little more difficult for the device to immediately contact to the other device, and more if it's a printer or a file server.
Another?
I mean, this tries to say that
it's true. It is true because if they are static.
Why?
Because if they are static, they don't have to change. Because
True?
Yeah, because it's static. For example, printers, the IP shouldn't change a lot.
His release is the 6 month.
What?
6 months. Release. Expiration date. 6 months. Fine. Yes or no? Spanish is Spanish.
Spanish?
Yeah. In this case, Spanish. Spanish.
I don't know. Well, I think in this case, in 6 months, it's more traffic in the network.
Well, like we said before, like we saw in class that if we have a dynamic configuration, even if we the dynamic configuration mostly is going to, you're not using the IP, is going to request the IP back. So for not having that inconvenience when you're not using the device, you just put a static IP to it. That's because we say that the printers, the file servers, need to have their own IP address. Because this is the IP address that the other devices are going to communicate with.
Or with an list. Thanks.
Okay, good morning. I'm Kevin and I'm going to try to explain what is a linear. In the last week, I think you already have an idea of what is a linear, but I will try to explain it anyway. A linear. The computer tends to communicate using its IP address to identify one from the another. The way in which computers communicate is through numbers. It's not, well, humans, on the other hand, communicate through language, and we identify each other by names. What is a DNS? It means domain name system. It's a collection of databases that translate hostname in human language to IP addresses in computer language. DNS is often referred to as the Internet phone book because it converts easy to remember hostname. And I will explain it. Can you open one browser, please? Browser. Chrome or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's opening, sorry.
Ah,
My computer is very slow. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
Now?
Like I said before, the human, for one human, it's more easily to remember a name and in fact it's calculated than number. For example, when you always try to go to one website in any browser, you tap so something like you know google.com. Okay, you always do something like this, or facebook.com or YouTube, whatever. In fact, you are using in this way you are using a DNS because one of the main functions of a DNS is to give to the humans one direction that they can easily remember instead of put enter click.
I don't have an internet right now.
Oh, if you were with one connection, you will see. Good morning, class. Continue with the topic of DNS. What? Any questions of this? I explained this yesterday.
You do a rewind file yesterday. I don't think that a lot of us remember about that.
Today I'm gonna explain you how does it work a DNS. The first step, like I said yesterday, when you put a URL, a domain name, in any browser, Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever, send the domain name to the web browser and cache memory will start to search for the address of the domain that you request. This step is in your own hardware, in your own operating system, in your own computer. When you introduce, for example, google.com, the first step, the DNS, goes to the cache memory in your properly computer and search for that direction. For example, google.com. And if that direction is not in your cache memory, then comes the step 2. If the address is not found, it will transmit a query to the resolver server. Anyone knows what is a resolver server? JSP does not explain that. But exists. Anyone knows what is a resolver server?
Anybody?
Well, the resolver server will search in its own cache memory. And what is a resolver server? The resolver server is provided by one ESP. It's given by your internet provider. That is a resolver server. That's the step 2. If the URL that you are looking for is not in your cache, then the DNS comes to the resolver server. That's the step 2. Next. And then that's the step 2. The step 3, if the resolver server does not have the address of the domain requested, it will request it to domain to root server. It's another type of server, but it's a DNS as well. The root server at the top of the DNS hierarchy. There is a hierarchy in the DNS. There are 308 root servers, and that 308 servers are divided in 13 groups. And that 13 groups are placed in 13 locations around all the world and are supported by 13 organizations. That's the hierarchy of the root server. Any question of this, of the step 3? I mentioned to you the step 1, the step 2, and the step 3. Any question about that?
I have a question. DNS, how do you save of the IP address?
What?
The DNS,
Uh-huh.
how do you save the IP address? Or, for example, in the browser I type in google.com, google.com. How the word DNS or where the check
The URL, the IP of that address? Okay. I explained that in the, rewind this please. In the, I mentioned that yesterday, I think, a DNS, here. DNS is a collection of databases that translate hostname, I mean your URL, your direction, into one IP address. X is one big database that contains a lot of numbers of websites, and that's the first step. The DNS check that database and gives to that or associate to that direction one IP. They can exist a lot of IP addresses for one domain, for example, for Facebook or Google. It's not only one IP direction. You can use, for example, in Google, you can use this IP, but it's more than one. That is where you can know the IP direction or address to one URL that you're looking.
And it uses a binary identifier to translate the number to the host.
Thanks. Any question? Or step 1, 2, 3?
Okay, like Kevin mentioned before, there is a layer of servers, the DNS, they're going to help us get the IP address of the domain name that we entered in the browser. So, Kevin mentioned before just the root server. The root server is the first layer, is the top layer, and the first layer that's going to come with the resolver server. Now the root server doesn't have an IP address. They don't manage the IP address. What they do is they redirect you to the top level domains servers. And the top level Thank you. Now the top level domain servers, these ones, are the ones who, in the second step, are going to manage domains of a specific direction. I mean, direction like .com, .net, .org. This is the one that manages those. So, like, I don't know if you can recall that every time you put like sometimes in Google .com, it doesn't only come with .com, it also comes with a MX. Because that's the domain name that is provided to us in Mexico. Now the TLD server is the one who is going to manage those kinds of domain that comes in the domain name that we gave in the browser. Now, still, the TLD server doesn't have the IP address. So the only thing that it's going to do is that now that we have shortened or given more of the selection of directions that we can access to, so the TLD server is going to redirect us finally to a server that is going to have the IP address. In this case, it's going to be the authoritative domain server. Finally, this server is going to be the one that has the IP address. And yeah, once the query of the server is requested or is answered, this is going to redirect to the result server. This one is going to give the IP address to us. Now, this is how all the process is saw in a full picture. Here the browser, then the resolver server, then the root server, the TDO server, and the authoritative domain server, and well, and each one of these is going to go and make a request to each server layer by layer. Now, this is a command that I was trying in Windows. This command, what it does is that it tells this command looks up the domain name that you introduce. Okay, it introduces a ya afectan los días. Okay, this is a command that I tried in Windows. So what this command does is that you enter a domain name and it's going to answer you with the IP address of that domain. But the interesting stuff about this is that it also mentioned you like the DNS that you're using. In this case, like the DNS that uses my network service is my 4G. So I enter the domain. The server that is going to serve like a resolver server is going to be my EE and 4G that provides me multi-store. This is my IP address, and finally it's going to show us the name of the domain that I entered, the IP in version 6 and version 4. And this is a list of domains that the list of DNS is help us like in the function of resolve server. In this case, we can see like the DNS is like 111 that the IP address that they manage to work with.
Entendido que es lo que están diciendo, de que si el primero no responde o X o Y razón, se va al modem que son los del SDS, la caché del modem, de los sitios que va borrando. Creo.
No me he callado. Hasta bien les digo. Hasta bien lo vemos, pero quiero ahorita que Entonces lo traten de resolver.
¿Cómo opina? Como alumno.
Esa es la pregunta.
Cuando le preguntamos nosotros, nos regresa la pregunta.
El viernes. El viernes. Continue. Tranquilo, Víctor.
I'm not even talking. Oh. Calmado.
Mañana.
Denle una tacha.
Una tacha.
Mañana. Ahorita no vengo bien.
Mañana. Tranquilo.
Tengo el
Y luego de ahí, si no tienes secundario, si tienes caché, ¿no? Si tienes caché, no. Y si no hay,
Que de igual manera el ISP tiene su propio DNS, el ISP titular la
¿Están de acuerdo en eso? Yo soy de ahí ahorita.
sí.
Yo soy de alumno. Ahorita no va a ser
No
alumno.
podías nada, no podías poner direcciones con nombre, tenías que ponerlo ahí.
Este es en caso de que quites de plano todos los DNS. Tienes que poner la dirección IP de la página para que puedas navegar.
Borrando el historial de todos los DNS que
Pero el
tienes.
chiste es que cuando está el primario, pues se va a hacer el primario, pero ¿qué pasa cuando está el segundo? Tengo entendido que es lo que están diciendo, de que si el primero no responde o X o Y razón, se va al modem, que son los del SDS, que es la caché del modem, de los sitios que va borrando.
Claro. Me quedo callado, yo me quedo callado. Hasta el viernes. Hasta el viernes les digo. Hasta el viernes lo vemos, pero quiero ahorita que ustedes lo traten de resolver.
¿Cómo opina? Como alumno.
Esa es la pregunta.
Cuando le preguntamos nosotros, nos regresa la pregunta.
El viernes. El viernes. Continue. Tranquilo, Víctor.
I'm not even talking. Oh. Calmado.
Mañana.
Denle una tacha.
Una tacha.
Mañana. Ahorita no vengo bien.
Mañana. Tranquilo.
Sorry about everything yesterday, everybody. Now, I'm going to make a little bit of recap about yesterday, or in case it didn't now, I'm going to make a little bit of recap about DNS yesterday, so was DNS? Well, DNS it's no more than just a translator between the name of the domain we enter in our browser and the IP we receive about it. So, a little bit of recap about the process we follow. We enter a domain name in our browser, and then the browser will search it in the cache memory of our browser and the operating system. If it's not found there, then they will go to the DNS, the server or the DNS resolver of our ISP provider. So after that, if it's not found in this server, then
Adelante.
Now, if it's not found in this server, in resolver server will enter a process in which it will try to find it through a layer of servers that will direct it to the IP address that he's searching. So first we'll go to the root server, and then to the top LD domains, and from there we'll go to the alternative domain server. And after that, the alternative domain server is the place where it's going to find the IP address. And after that, it's going to return to the resolver, and the resolver will redirect it to our browser, and it's going to display the page. So something that the professor mentioned yesterday was the DNS records. Sorry. Now, what are the DNS records? Well, they're no more than like DNS records are no more than DNS, but that contains data requested by the client. In this case, I provided 3 because there's like a dozen of them, and I didn't want to mention all of them, so I put the 3 more important ones that I consider that are kind of easy to explain. So what we have, the first one that is an AAA record. So, well, what do this kind of record do? Well, what these kind of records do is no more than redirect you to the IP address. It's straightforward and simple than that. Right, and the only difference that has the A from AAA, is that an A record is going to redirect you to the I, or it's going to show you, or no, going to obtain you the IP address of the domain, but in version 4.
It's a reference to the domain.
Yeah, it's a reference to the domain. Well, it's not itself a reference to the domain, but it's like I said before, it's the data that you requested from that record, I mean. So this is a straightforward and more simple record we can mention, because practically what DNS does is it sends you the IP address that you are searching for. And like I said, the A record, it tries to bring you the IP address for version 4, and the AAA record tries to send you the IP address for version 6. Now the C name or canonical name is an alias.
Nickname.
Yeah?
Nickname.
Nickname, yeah. And nickname, the server puts, or the domain server puts over the IP for you to access a little more easily. Like if you want to access like www.cloudworks.net, the C name, the only thing will make is that if you enter cloudworks.net, it will provide you with the IP without the www. Quite simple, this one also. Other function that can have is that, or better say, does this just redirect to one IP? Is a question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So, like I said, this is like a contained canonical name or a nickname that we give to the IP we want to access. Now, if we say that the DNS or the full name of the IP will be cloudworks.net with a triple W's in the beginning, then it will access if we just enter cloudworks.net. Does this record only access to one IP? That's the question. Yeah?
Depends on the server. If you are on IPs, but if the server is, the whole server is available, it will be the IP.
Anybody else?
Correct.
I think it's equals because the QPW, the cloud support of .NET and www.cloudworks.net exchange the virtual it's equals.
Other answers? Another idea about it?
Spanish. Just try it.
In Spanish, you can say it. It's not a problem. No?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, like en español. Okay. Como dije, esto es no más que un alias que va a tener la IP. Ya podemos decir que lo que vendrá siendo el DNS completo, lo que vendrá siendo el nombre que se le pone a la IP es w.cloudworld.net. Y si decimos que esto tan solo es un alias, o esto nos ayuda tan solo a ingresar lo que vendrá siendo un alias ahí al navegador que es cloudworld.net y aún así acceder a la IP, la pregunta es, ¿solo accede a una sola IP esta alias?
No, o sea, puede acceder ya sea tanto como de arriba. No, que se puede ingresar también como la de sin alias como con alias. Es que yo pienso que sí, es exactamente igual, porque solamente cloudworld.net solamente agrega cuando tú ingresas a la página web, te agrega por default el www, ¿no? O sea, exactamente el mismo.
No,
For example, Turtle is the protocol. The correct answer.
Anybody have the marker?
Okay.
I think that I can explain this a little bit more if I use the marker. Now, let's say we have here the resolver. Okay, one more time. Here's the server resolver. And in another instance, he has IP of 70, 70, 70, 70. It'll still be accessing the computer thanks to the DNS, the dynamic domain name system. So, it's clear? It's clear.
Yeah.
It's understandable. All of you understand this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, I think that's all I needed to mention.
Victor, I have a question.
No, I don't have a question, but I don't understand it.
Oh, you didn't understand? Oh, already. Okay. Like, let's say, you're not right now in your home. You're here at the school. You want to access your computer. Your computer is turned on. You haven't turned on. It's connected to a router. It's connected to a router, your computer. And the router right now is giving your computer an IP of 50, 50, 50, 50. Now, you can access your computer with that IP, accessing your own IP and the IP that your computer has in the moment. But in some cases, like we saw before, the router is going to change the IP of your computer every time the computer accesses the network. It will give him the IP that he has available. So, to solve this and to not being like trying one IP, another IP, another IP to access your computer, what you do is that you give him a dynamic DNS, a name, and it doesn't matter if the router changes the IP that your computer has available in the moment, it's still going to access to your computer.
Yes.
How the DNS knows about what is my computer? That is my computer.
Well, that's a configuration you put more in the root of your computer. Like, it will recognize it with the MAC of the computer.
Okay.
So, even if it gives it another IP, if I have the same MAC, your computer has a MAC, no? So, it will know that it has this name, and still it will be able to map the DNS with this IP or any IP. This will be just the identifier of your computer.
Yes.
The main identifier.
Your MAC is on the router, and the router MAC is on the DHCP.
Like, if I didn't show before, like, let me return. Like, I showed my own network in my house. I gave every device a name and a MAC. Right? I censored the MAC because they're my MAC, not your MAC.
It's
So,
all MAC.
MAC. So this is the name of the devices in my home and the MACs. And this is the IP I give them. But in case that I don't give them necessary IP, oh man, why can't I show this? Well, there's another part or another section of giving the configuration of the router in which it shows that I can establish the DNS into any device. I don't know why it didn't add that to the sheets, but what we'll do is that it will identify my computer and then it will give it the name, and it doesn't matter the IP address that it will have at that moment the device is still going to access thanks to that name. The only thing that you need to know is, well, the IP of your home. Local IP. Okay, so that's. Any more questions? No? So, everything is clear, understandable. Yes, we're good. Okay. So, I'm finished. I'm done with this. I need to.